Okay, St. Cletus, today's lesson is 2.3. It's multiplying real numbers. So we just have to remember a few rules when we multiply real numbers. First of all, if the signs are the same, the product will be positive. If the signs are different, then the product will be negative. So let's take a look at some examples and see what that means. If you multiply two positive numbers together, like 5 times 3, you will get a positive answer, okay? If you multiply two negative numbers together, like -4 times -3, you'll get a positive product. But if you multiply a positive number by a negative number, you'll get a negative product. And that would be true if the first number is negative or if the second number is negative. Okay? So if one's negative, one's positive, your product is negative. If they're both positive, your product's positive. If they're both negative, your product is positive. Okay, in the first example, what we're going to find is that we're now multiplying two fractions together instead of two integers. And we're multiplying -3/4 times 4/7. One way to do it would just be simply to multiply across the top. -3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 7 is 28. Because one is negative and one is positive, that means our product will be negative. And then we would get 12/28. This isn't in simplest form. We want to put it in simplest form. So the way we would do that is we would think of the greatest common factor that 12 and 28 have, and 4 will go into both of these numbers. So if we divide the top by 4 and also we divide the bottom by 4, we'll get -3/7. Okay? The other way we could have done it is we could have realized we had a 4 in the denominator here and in the numerator here, and we could have canceled these out and then realized that we're left with a -3/7. So either way is fine. Just be sure that, when you get an answer, check to see if it's in simplest form, because fractions should always be left in simplest form. It would also be true, you could do the same thing with decimals. If you are multiplying a decimal and an integer together, we know that 2 times 9 is 18, so 0.2 times 9 would be 1.8. And then because, once again, one's negative, one's positive, that means the product is negative. Okay, so those are the rules. If the only other thing that we could add to this is what if we're multiplying three numbers together? What if we took, 5 times a -3 times a -2? And simply then we would say, okay, well, 5 times 3 is -15, but then a -15 times -2 would make it a +30. Okay, so if you have more than more than two factors, and you just have to do them in order, just left to right, okay, according to order of operations, and you would just then, if two negatives will make your answer a positive. So basically, you could kind of come up with a rule that said that if you have an even number of, let me erase that. If you had an even number of negative signs, then you're going to come up with a positive product. If you have an odd number of negative signs, then you're going to come up with a negative product. So we could make that rule as well. So that's about all there is to tonight's assignment, and I hope that this goes well for you tomorrow, and we will see you tomorrow and do some practice.